Hello YouTube, this is going to be part 3 of my 48RE automatic to nv4500 manual 5-speed transmission. First thing I want to talk to you about is pedal assembly. Got my pedals in. I don't know if you can see up in there. It's kind of hard to tell. What I did was I just went to the Dodge dealer, the local Dodge dealer, and ordered everything I needed. Ordered 2 new pedals, the bushings, and everything. And ended up doing it that way. I didn't feel like going to a junkyard and crawling up underneath everything, another truck, and trying to pull everything off. So it was quicker and easier just go to the Dodge dealer and buy all brand new parts, brand new pedals, and bushings and everything. So, and it wasn't very expensive either. It was pretty reasonable, I thought. And then second is the master cylinder for the clutch. You can see it right there. Dodge makes it pretty nice. What they do is they have 2 studs, basically the 2 studs you see right there, and 2 nuts on the inside. And undo those 2 nuts and you pop the factory plug out. And this is a South Bend heavy duty unit, and bolts right in and makes it real nice. I'll show you the other side in a minute. So that pretty much bolt in just like the pedal assemblies. Everything's there, even though this was an automatic originally. All the hinge points and everything were all the same, so everything slipped right together. So that's that. And then so I got my hole cut in the floor. And there's actually indentation right where that hole is, so I made it pretty easy. I took some measurements just to make sure, but that's exactly where it needed to go. And so cut my carpet out a little bit and made room for the new part, the new shifter. And this is going to be my center console that I got off of eBay. And that'll bolt right down and use the factory holes right here and right there. And then there's another one under this cup holder tray. If I can pull that piece out. Hole right there. And there's actually a factory dimple. And you kind of see it right there in the floor, so I just put a self-tapper. So the only problem I'm running into now was I thought my original cup holder cover that's supposed to go right here, I thought it would fit, but it's not. So it's actually, the shifter is going to come underneath of that. So I took my cup holder assembly apart just to get this blank cover. I thought I could make a mount and put it in place, but I believe the shifter is going to hit it. So I think what I'll eventually have to do is go to a junkyard, see if I can find it online, and see if I can get this whole separate piece, this bottom piece right here, it goes all the way across. Find that out of a original manual truck and just swap that whole thing out. So one of the problems, but yeah, it's okay. I'm sure I can find something to make it all look factory. And that's about it for in here. I got to figure out something there, so maybe if I'm at a junkyard I can find the steering column cover, get that big hole out of the way. So okay, let me show you under the hood. Alright, so here's under the hood. It's pretty in there, pretty tight, but there's a slave cylinder, or master cylinder, and like I said, bolts right into place and hooks right up to the stock clutch pedal. And then there's a reservoir, just a couple self-tappers up under the cowl, perfect place for it. And then I got rid of all my cooler and cooler lines. This is a Banks intercooler. It's a lot bigger than stock. So what I ended up doing is I got my AC condenser, undid the 4 bolts, and hinged this piece up. And I undid my 2 top mounts for the intercooler, and my silicone hose, and I got the intercooler to pull out from the radiator support enough, and because right between the actual radiator and the intercooler is the transmission cooler, so I got it to come out far enough and pulled it right out. Did have to bend a couple lines, but I was gonna junk it anyway. I'm not gonna try to sell any of these old parts I got. So anyway, so that's that. And then if you look under here, they got I got my inner fender well out. Where those two open fittings are, that's your heat exchanger for your automatic transmission. So the lines that are still hooked up are my water lines, and then the two ones that are open were my transmission lines in and out. So I got plans for that in the future. So for now I'm just gonna leave it, because if I open it up I'll have to plug off these lines because I'm gonna puke coolant out everywhere. So for now, just leave it alone, and it's still kind of dripping automatic trans fluid, but no big deal. And that's about it under the hood. And here is my South Bend clutch. It's a 13-inch heavy-duty unit, single disc. Nothing special. I think it's rated for like 350 or 400 horse. Has the 1 3/8 input shaft spline, and if you run in this setup, it's basically for a new G56. It's a G56 part number, I believe, through South Bend. It was kind of confusing at first because I thought it was for a nv4500, but when you step up to the bigger input shaft, it basically makes it the same as the newer style. And that's that. And then up under the starter, you can use your original starter, and there's this little, that piece right there, it's a starter spacer. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. Found it on eBay, wasn't very expensive, and spaces the starter out from the aluminum adapter plate on the back of the engine, so everything will line up nice and neat, and ends up coming out pretty good. So then right here is a wire I have jumped out. I take it to ground. It's temporary, obviously. Take it to a little ground strap I got, and then I have it just shoved in the end of my plug, and that's for my neutral safety switch. So it normally grounds through the automatic transmission when you put it into park or neutral. So I found what wire was what, and so now I jumped it out, and I'll show you here in a minute what the truck does as is. Alright, we're back in the truck. Got my keys in. Here's what the truck acts like with no transmission hooked up to it. So we got a check engine light, and I have my little screen up here. It's not plugged in right now, but it showed I had a couple of trouble codes on it. And this is what happens when you open the door. Shut the door. Oh, it's still going. So anyways, just thought I'd let you know what it does. No trans hooked up. Alright, thanks for watching.